And we want to do this quickly because we still aim to be out of here by 8 p.m., even though we didn't start early. And, as I was preparing for this anniversary and thinking through what should I talk about, what should I share, a few things came to mind. I considered when Noah was building the ark. And I don't know if you've ever thought about that story, but can you imagine somebody building an ark when it was not heard of? There was no sense of danger, nothing to prove that an ark was relevant at that time. And he was not just doing it in a year, he was doing it over 120 years, building an ark that did not look relevant in their times. And sometimes the things we do in EYO, sometimes when you talk to some people, it seems we are irrelevant. We chose the theme relevance this year solely because we want the world to know that EYO is very relevant. Even though we may not have a big building, we are relevant. Even though we may not have certain things that people would say, oh, this is what shows that you are really into ministry, we are relevant. And our relevance stems from the fact that we know that God is with us, and it is God who is leading us in doing the things that we do. So I thought about it, and I remember not many times, but a few times I've tried to share the vision with people, and they keep asking questions and sort of poking holes into this vision. I remember when we started going on missions, you'd go out, we send the young people out to ask for money, raise funds. And people will ask them this question. Now, Ghana cry, have we finished the work in Ghana that you want to send young people where other places? It is like Noah building his ark. And it's interesting how the Bible relates Noah's ark to how the end times would be. It said, just as it was in Noah's days, people were being married and were being given into marriage. That is how the end would be until Noah and his family entered the ark. Before I even go into my speech, I want you to know that EYO is very relevant. And I cannot overstate it. It is very relevant for the young people whose lives are being changed and transformed. And we see this transformation in many places. There will be a form, a report, or a brochure that will be sent out. There will be a QR code that you just have to. I think the projection team will help us with a QR code. Just go into it. You have a little brief. We did a little brief quantitative analysis of the impact of EYO. And we saw that this is only EYO. EYO has had about 59 camps, which as the 59 camps have reached a lot of people. I don't have the figures here. That's not what I'm going to talk about. But you can go and check it out. And we've reached over 180,000 young people with our programs. That's over 500 programs we've had, different programs we've had over the 30 years. And you see, these are the ones we could count in terms of attending our programs. And even this is an estimate. There are others who we know have gone through EYO, and they are reaching thousands, some 10,000s beyond what we even put into them. Many ministries have been formed, and many of the leaders or founders of those ministries have had their foundations in EYO. So the impact of EYO is beyond what we see here or what we just even hear people talk about. It goes very, very far. As I was thinking through what should I say at this anniversary, there were 3 words that came to mind and that kept coming to mind. There are 3 S words: statements, seasons, and sacrifice. And my speech is going to be based on these 3 words: statements, seasons, and sacrifice. Distinguished guests, cherished partners, alumni, current members, and friends of Excellent Youth Outreach, good evening. Tonight is no ordinary night. It's a night of remembrance, of celebration, and of gratitude. For 30 years, the story of EYO has been unfolding. We gather not just to look back at what has been achieved, but to honor the people whose lives and sacrifices made these achievements possible. When preparing my speech, I looked back into the last 30 years, of which I personally have had the privilege of being part of the last 20 years. 22 years. Three words kept coming to mind: statements, seasons, and sacrifice. Statement. Every story begins with a statement. Every story begins with a statement. And most movements are nestled in statements. There are statements like, I have a dream. Self-governance now. And I know as I mentioned it, you begin to relate it to the people who made these statements. A bold declaration that something is possible. In 1995, EYO began with such a statement, a vision that young people can be nurtured, equipped, and released as agents to make a purposeful global impact. And what statements have been made since then? I'll give you one example. When KK Bedu and Barry King had been sent to US for a certain camping experience, they both came back and they made this statement. When they were asked, how was the program in the US? They said, those out there need what we have. That is what EYO has. Today, as we speak to you, KK is living that vision. He's actually in US currently, traveling from state to state, organizing camps for young people in Teens Allowed Foundation. That statement became a vision that propelled him to move the boundaries of youth ministry from Africa to the US. EYO members must consider giving a tithe of their working life to the Lord. That is one statement that the prophet used to make a lot. Today, Operation Serve is one of the outcomes of such a statement. Another statement, which I believe all of us know very well: EYO has been a blessing to me. How many of you here haven't said that before? EYO has been a blessing to me. And it's made, and it's made by many seated here tonight. Countless others, some are also online, who I cannot see. These are not just mere words, but springboards to spur many into action and purpose. Just as Martin Luther King once said, I have a dream. In 2025, EYO also has a dream to reach young people everywhere, ripe to live for Christ and shape the future. Seasons. However, statements are not enough. Every vision must pass through seasons. And EYO has walked through seasons of small beginnings, seasons of growth, seasons of challenge, and seasons of expansion, and even seasons of loss and despair. Small beginnings, vibrant sessions of teaching and counseling in Gehe, as you saw in the videos. Loss, Mami Crawford losing her job and having to leave Gehe because of EYO. Some of the losses we've had has been losing staff because we could not pay. Losing volunteers. Losing one of the first EYO members. And at this time, I want us to give a minute silence for the alumni, for the member, Josephine Yamwa, and some EYO members, alumni and company who have also lost various loved ones, fathers, mothers, spouses. Shall we share a minute silence for these departed ones? May her soul and their souls rest in peace. There have also been seasons of growth and expansion. Numerical growth in Accra from 1995 to 2002. The broad growth when the ministry began to expand from 2000 to 2010. Organizational and branch growth. That's when the secretariat was started from 2011 to 2018. And currently, international growth. Now we are in 12 countries in Africa. Each season carried its own lessons, shaping EYO into what it is today. A movement that has touched countless lives across campuses, communities, and nations. As the African proverb reminds us, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Through every season, EYO has gone far because we have journeyed together. So just as nature's seasons never end, EYO is stepping into yet another season. One of legacy, one of multiplication, one of greater relevance, one of greater relevance for generations to come. And we call you to journey with us in this new season. The last S, sacrifice. You see, no statement becomes reality. Not every statement becomes reality. And no seasons bear fruit without sacrifice. Behind every milestone we celebrate tonight are people who give of themselves. We have the founders and the pioneers who labored when resources were scarce. We have leaders who stayed faithful when the work was hard. And I recall one leader in EYO UCC who kept remaining as the leader even though he had no fruit to tell. He gathers members. He gathers people in first semester. By second semester, they all depart. And he had to remain as the president for 3 years. There were many times he almost penned down his resignation, but he stayed on course. These are sacrifices that certain people made. I also remember partners who gave generously when the need was really great. And then there are also alumni whose testimonies of transformed lives prove that the sacrifice never goes waste. I know of EYO presidents who sacrificed the comfort of a good hostel, even when their parents had given them the money for a good hostel, to share a room so that they could use the hostel money to organize EYO programs. Others forwent a much needed equipment in school to help send some members to camp. Some sacrificed their time. By time, they sacrificed time to pray, pursuing souls and these sheep, having meetings, counseling members, cooking for others, carrying chairs for meetings and crusades. Others forwent their family tradition at Christmas to labor in prayer and fasting, sold their cars, laptops, phones, emptied their investments, forwent their personal ambitions, deferred scholarships, and countless more, just so that the vision could thrive through the different seasons. J.F. Kennedy once said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." In the same way, so many of you asked not what EYO could do for you, but what you could give for the vision. And tonight, we are asking you, don't ask, what has EYO done for me? Ask, what can you do to make this vision stand out? It is this sacrifice, quiet, consistent, and often unseen, that makes tonight's celebration possible. So tonight, we honor statements that dared to dream, seasons that tested and refined us, and sacrifices that built a lasting legacy. And above all, we honor people. And that's why we'll have the awards session tonight. As we applaud them, let us remember that this is not the end of the story. The statements will continue to be made. EYO is not dead, will not die tomorrow or anytime soon, and will live on. And will live on with more statements. I remember during the times of the 2015, 2016, 2014 period, we had one statement we used to say, zeal, Lord. And that was because we're crazy for Jesus. Such statements will still be made with the generation that is coming after us. Ladies and gentlemen, let us celebrate 30 years of relevance. And let us celebrate the God who made it all possible. Thank you very much. God bless you. Having done this, I want us to consider, please, my team, where are you? I want us to consider how we can support or help this vision. I have noticed that as for God's work, if it is He who has given you this vision, He would make it come to pass. There is a beautiful project that we want to undertake, which is the Legacy Project. You can please, if you have not filled the form already, please just use your phone to scan the QR code. Sorry. Those online, scan the QR code on your screens and see how you can support in that way. This support that you scan, if you register to support this project, you might not have the money even now to give, because it gives you the chance to decide to support on a frequent basis, on a regular basis, sorry. So you could support on a monthly, you could support on a yearly or 6 monthly or whatever way you want to support. But beyond this, maybe you are also here. You knew you're coming for a fundraising dinner. Hello? And so when you were coming, you decided in your heart that you want to give something to support this event. Apart from just buying your ticket, you wanted to give something to support this event. If you're also here like that, and you want to support what we are doing as a ministry, you're welcome. You also want to support what we are doing as a ministry. There are pledge cards that are going around. I don't know how my team would like to do this. For those online, you can just, someone can just put the link for registering for the dinner on the Zoom, so that anybody who also wants to come on board by probably giving something or registering to give something maybe at a certain time, you can also go on to that link, and then you can also decide to give what you want to give. So if you are here, you're interested in getting a form to give something to support this ministry, the form will come around for you to have it. Since 2021, I left the Ghana office to lead the international ministry office. I felt that I needed a bit more time to grow the ministry by way of paying attention to the branches outside Ghana. And I also felt that the Ghana team was strong to be able to hold the fort and still continue the legacy that we have continued. When I left, I needed to raise new partners. I did that because in 2016, by God's grace, God led me to start a project called Jesus Campaign Project. And I told myself I'm not going to raise money from EYO. But I was still the deputy director of EYO, a leader of EYO. People knew me. And so when I was marketing what I was doing with Jesus Campaign Project, people who normally would have given to EYO, interestingly, were also given to me, or given to the project, sorry, not me. And so this time around, I said, I'm going to step out quietly and get a small team to build the international ministry office and also raise new partners. A number of things happened. I noticed that some people started giving anonymously. And up to date, there are some 5 people who donate. I do not know who they are. We are even going to give an award to one of the people. I was trying to get him to at least let me see his face. He has swerved it. He didn't come. But his award is still there. Okay. And I realized that some people want to follow the principle of the left hand and the right hand. They do not want their right hand to see what their left hand is doing. So even for such people, we have the opportunity for you to do that. If you want to give towards this project anonymously, okay, you can just go to your phone and go to Chango. When you go to Chango, look for Excellent Youth Outreach. You'll find a project on Chango. Chango allows you to give anonymously without us knowing who it was who gave. So simple, just go to Chango. Chango, I think it's chango.com or something like that. Or just search Chango, you'll get to the place. And then look for the campaigns. Okay. And then when you get to the campaigns, look for Excellent Youth Outreach. You would find this project on that place. And you can give anonymously. Okay. Then there are also those who maybe will not go through that route, but they might want to give by themselves. One of the people in my team in the International Ministry Office, his name is Samson. It is through him some of the anonymous givers give, who I do not know. Samson has been very faithful in not telling me who they are. So I had a conversation with him and he said, oh, I can give his numbers out so that those who want to be Nicodemus givers, you can send a message to Samson and tell Samson, I want to support this ministry with this or that amount. Samson has wonderful ways of giving you a name. He gives one the money, another the seed. Okay, and whichever way you want to give, you can give through that means. So these are Samson's contacts. Samson's number is 024 574 9906. 024 574 9906. And if you reach Samson, you just tell him that I want to give anonymously. And he would faithfully do it. Such funds go through him, his accounts, and they come to us. And we give you a receipt for whatever money that we have received, at least within 1 week, you will get your receipt. For such anonymous donors. For the other donors, we have all the receipts and give it at the end of the month. We are still working on our systems and we'll do better. So thank you very much. Like I said, as I shared my speech, as we applaud these people, let us remember that this is not the end of the story. The statements will continue to be made. The seasons will continue to unfold. And the sacrifices will continue to bear fruit until generations yet unborn rise to say, because of EYO, we found purpose, we found Christ, and we found impact. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Let's do it.